like to open Commissioners Meeting number 11, March the 23rd. Everyone please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All righty. I'm telling you. See that little lever and lift it up.
This one is high.
You look like you're sitting on a stool with Frank's coat on when you're hanging down. Hi, Audrey. How are you? So I changed I ran out of contacts. Okay. So when I don't have my contacts in, I can read fine, but I can't see Dan Yema. So when I put my contacts in, I can see Dan Yema, but I can't read. I got to wear cheaters. And so the contacts that I normally get have that little thing around the outside that's almost like a bifocal on the outside. So when you look down, it creates, up close and straight ahead out. Well, they didn't have any of those in stock. And when I went there to get a sample, all they gave me was the ones that were far away. And not until I looked down, I realized, hey, I can't read this now. So if I pop my contacts out, I could. But
now that we got that out of the way.
so anyway, I'm sure that you were interested and concerned. So
Yes.
anyway, all right, we'd like to open the meeting and start off with public comments. Anyone has anything they'd like to say, we ask them to come to the podium. Speak for 3 minutes. Okay. Seeing none, we'll move on to approval of previous minutes. I'm not even going to make it. Approval of previous minutes of board meeting number 10, Thursday, March 16, 2023, and approval of bills for payment.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Remedy Agati?
Yes.
Commissioner Trafficant?
Yes.
Commissioner Ditzler?
Yes. Legal notices. David Letterman.
You're muted.
Jeffrey.
Good morning.
Good morning. I love the beard.
Thank you. This is our request to advertise for qualifications for a master plans examiner. Master plans examiners do our commercial plan reviews in the county. So it's a service we definitely need.
Right. Thank you, Jeff. Motion to approve.
Motion to approve legal notice number 1.
Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Remedy Agati?
Yes.
Commissioner Trafficant?
Yes.
Commissioner Ditzler?
Yes. Journal entries.
Motion to approve journal entry number 1.
Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Remedy Agati?
Yes.
Commissioner Trafficant?
Yes.
Commissioner Ditzler?
Yes. Okay, agreements, engineers, Pat.
Commissioners, letter A is a memorandum of understanding with the Ohio Department of Transportation for use of the ODOT scales at no cost to the county. This is the weight enforcement program that the sheriff's office and my office have joined together several years ago, and ODOT allows us to use their scales at no charge.
Okay, thanks, Pat. Jobs and family, Audrey.
Good morning, Commissioners. Good morning, Audrey, Nancy, and Jim. Letter B, Job and Family Service Agreement with Domestic Relations Court for CSEA 4D mandated services in the amount of $186,000.71 FFP reimbursement, $122,771.03. This is from the non-general. Letter C, Job and Family Services Agreement with the Prosecutor's Office for CSEA 4D criminal non-support cases in the amount of $19,880.05. FFP reimbursement, $13,120.83. This is from the non-general.
Okay. Thank you, Audrey. Okay, lead-based, Phil.
Good morning, Commissioners. Letter D is an agreement with the Howland Company for lead hazard control, healthy homes work at 2520 Volney in the amount of $20,272.50. Non-general. Letter E is an agreement with American Pinnacle Construction for lead hazard control and healthy homes work at 200 Byron
in the amount of $17,250. That's non-general and in conjunction with the City of Youngstown CDBG program. And letter F is an agreement with AK Waterworks for chip home repair work at 87.5 Madison in the amount of $2,000 non-general.
Okay, thanks, Phil. Probate.
I could take that one.
Okay, Jim, thank you.
This is an agreement with Tyler Technologies, Inc. They're our primary financial system that we all utilize. It's for the electronic filing services they need, and it's at no cost to our county.
All right, thanks, Jim. Sanitary.
Commissioners, letter H is a modification number 1 with WE Quicksall and Associates. This is for engineering services for the Camel wastewater treatment plant. This is the replacement of the blowers and diffusers. It's improvement number 535 in the amount of $6,500 non-general funds. Letter I is an agreement with JS Bova Excavating for emergency bypass pumping and repair of a sewer line on 12th Street in Camel. The estimated amount of $13,158. Also non-general funds. And letter J is an agreement with Canfield Fence Company to replace existing fences at 4 of our pump stations in the amount of $33,680 non-general funds.
Okay, thank you. Sheriff, Joe.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
K is an agreement with Greenwood Chevrolet for repair of the 2019 Ford Police Interceptor in the amount of $5,970.80. That's non-general.
Okay, thanks, Joe. Motion to approve agreements.
Motion to approve agreements, letters A through K.
Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Remedy Agati?
Yes.
Commissioner Trafficante?
Yes.
Commissioner Ditzler?
Yes. Commissioners, appointments. Appoint the following individuals to serve on the Mahoning County Children's Services Board, effective April 1st, 2023, for a 3-year term. Ron Kerberry. Motion?
Motion to approve appointments 3A.
Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Remedy Agati?
Yes.
Commissioner Trafficante?
Yes.
Commissioner Ditzler?
Yes. Road closings. All right, Pat.
Commissioners, letter A is to close Middletown Road between Stratton Road and State Route 45, beginning April 17th. This is for approximately 30 days to complete a bridge replacement. And letter B is approval to close approximately 36 roads from March of this year through December for various culvert replacements prior to the start of the OPWC and locally funded paving program that will take place next year.
All right. As long as you're not hitting any Austin Town ones the rest of this year, Pat.
Pardon me?
As long as you're not hitting them. All right, I heard you.
We're going to be in all the townships this year. We're trying to get ahead of next year's program like we did last year. So we'll be bouncing around the whole county.
When you got, when we have to slow down, it means progress is being made. So it's a good thing. Road closings.
Motion to approve road closings A and B.
Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Remedy Agati?
Yes.
Commissioner Trafficante?
Yes.
Commissioner Ditzler?
Yes. Resolutions.
Motion to approve resolutions number 1 additions.
Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Remedy Agati?
Yes.
Commissioner Trafficante?
Yes.
Commissioner Ditzler?
Yes. Okay, resolutions. The first one on here is the final to vacate the road. So the verbiage on here has been altered. It's as I'll read it. The first one is from Commissioners OMB, a resolution approving to vacate the unnamed road, Great Lot Number 9 off North Lima Road in Poland Township. It's the one where we had our meeting at last 2 weeks ago and a public hearing at as well. B, engineers, Pat?
Commissioners, letter B is a resolution of necessity to purchase one 2024 Western Star 47X dump truck. This is from TSI Western Star through the State of Ohio Cooperative Purchasing Program. The estimated amount is $113,510. Letter C, resolution of necessity to purchase yellow and white traffic paint from MD Solutions, also through the State Co-op Purchasing Program in the amount of $65,225.50. This is for our traffic department to go out and restripe a lot of the county roads. Letter D is a resolution of necessity to purchase 3 snow and ice control equipment packages from Henderson Products. This is through Sourcewell Purchasing Program in the estimated amount of $344,916.
Okay, thanks, Pat. Facilities.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
E is a resolution approving the termination of one employee from the department effective March 17th, 2023.
Okay. Human Resources. Karen, are you?
Good morning, everyone. This is a resolution approving an agreement with All One Health Resources, Inc. For 2 years in the amount of $34,707.60 for the first year.
OMB grants.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is a resolution for the Commissioners to appoint me to serve on the Mahoning County Homeless Continuum of Care Executive Board as your representative for the collaborative applicant.
Interesting.
It's a renewal.
You do a great job for us, Hannah.
Yes, she does.
Thank you.
Okay, a motion to approve resolutions.
Motion to approve resolutions A through G.
Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Remedy Agati?
Yes.
Commissioner Chafficanty?
Yes.
Commissioner Ditzler?
Yes. All right. How about that? For the good of the order, any electeds or department heads? Jim?
This Sunday is laying of the roses for the 103 heroes of Mahoning County. And I want to recognize that Ryan Stankel, who works for us, his uncle at 20 years old was killed in Vietnam. So his name's on the wall.
Wow.
And his parents didn't drive. They would walk to the cemetery every day until they died.
Campbell, St.
Yes,
John's,
yes.
every day.
Every day they would go to the cemetery.
Wow, God bless him. 20 years old.
20 years old.
Life
Most,
hadn't even started.
now, most died within their first 90 days in Vietnam.
You know, I had something, a friend of mine, I ran into a friend of mine, and she's working, she retired actually from JFS. And she's working as a volunteer at the Veterans Outreach. And they just moved their location. They're gonna move it to Colonial. And she said she was in there and they give everything away free because someone was asking, could I bring like furniture and stoves? They're getting rid of their mother's stuff in their house. And she said, yes. So she said, I had something interesting happen. And I said, you see a lot of Vietnam vets there? She says, more Vietnam than any other conflict we've ever had. More Vietnam veterans. She says, there's one in there that he's homeless and they try to help him, get him a place. And he's like, just not good. And so there was another Vietnam vet there that knew him and said, he will never be right.
You
He
know,
says
we've
when he
evolved to the
had-
point where all the World War II vets are gone.
Yes.
And now the oldest war conflict is the Vietnam War.
Yes.
You know, I mean, the Korean War
And
vets are
Korea.
almost
He
gone.
said he will
No,
never
just-
get over what happened because he was the military person that had to bag the body parts. And he says that he falls asleep at the homeless shelter, wakes up and goes for a walk. I mean, we just don't know what happened in that war. And little by little, we're starting to hear it because you guys never discussed it because you never at one point were respected for that service. Now, thank God, everything's more. I mean, I almost flipped when I heard that. I couldn't believe it.
I could say real quick, it was a war where the enemy didn't wear uniforms. You dealt with
Families,
malaria, tigers, snakes,
Agent Orange.
rats, cockroaches, and our worst enemy was our government, spraying us with Agent Orange. Like I said before, over 300,000 have died now from Agent Orange, 5 times more than those names on the wall in Washington. And the big thing about Vietnam, I was there one day, I'm home the next day, No transition for me, nothing. And they didn't even want us to continue out the reserves. Kick us out, forget about us. And that's why so many Vietnam veterans, there was no transition. So they go back and why was I there? And why did I come home? Wasn't I welcomed or helped me reestablish myself?
Right.
So all these years later, it's almost like too late because they're all scarred.
And how do you forget that?
And then, and talking about enemies,
Yes.
I mean, men, women, and children, you know, I mean, you didn't know. Who was it? Callie? Was that the guy's name?
Lieutenant Kelly.
Lieutenant Callie. I remember like, I remember that going on like it was yesterday. And just, you know, you didn't know who your enemy was. So how could you be blamed for, you know, any of the, you know, I don't know.
They
It's
didn't want
a
you to
terrible
come
thing.
because they sprayed everybody.
Yes.
Well, God bless you, Jim.
Yep.
So we'll see you
And
someday.
you're with us.
Right, thank you.
Any-
Anyone else?
My turn.
Sure.
Okay.
Audrey, what do you got for us, young lady?
Okay, just to share with you guys that Mahoning County Department of Job and Family Services, we have started our graduate assistant program. This program will assist high school seniors throughout Mahoning County. We will give up to $300 per student, and this is intended to reduce the barriers for graduating seniors in Mahoning County. They have to be income eligible, meeting the 200% poverty level. If they can't, the application should be mailed to Job and Family Services from the schools. We will give this money directly to the high schools, not to the students themselves. This program will be open and applications will be accepted through June 9th, 2023. So if you know of anyone, we put the word out to all of the high schools and we're trying to get it out, that have high school seniors that meet that guideline, we will give them $300.
As well as the Career Technical Center and stuff? Did you-
All schools, yes.
Gotcha.
Anyone graduating, any high school senior.
Oh, that's great.
Good deal. Thank you, Audrey. Appreciate you filling us in on that. Dan, anything you'd like to,
I
Fill us
really,
in.
you know, business as usual, everything's plugging along. We're still cashing checks, we're still processing checks.
wow.
So people may ask you, that's a long process.
I never asked to see why my check isn't cashed. You know, because I figure maybe, you know, maybe mine got lost and you just registered it as paid. So I'm good.
Yeah.
And Mayor Harp, it's good to see you. Anything to talk about from this past week, maybe?
Well, I would like to say from the Village of Sebring and the Mayor's office, thank you for your participation and everything you have done to make that project go through, as well as Mr. Yama from the Treasurer's office. Sebring was just ecstatic at the attendance and, you know, everything else that went on that day, and we're looking forward to good things. But if it hadn't been for the commissioners, you know, promoting that money, what was that, about a year ago, and that got us to where we needed to be last Monday. And I just want to express that. That's really helpful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor, for coming down. It was great. We were so happy and proud to participate,
Yes.
you know, with the village. Because I know that more than 10 years ago, you lost the state grant because you didn't have matching funds.
Right.
You know, and thank God the federal government provided us with ARPA funds that
Correct.
enabled us to have the monies to give you, it was about $250,000
Yeah.
in order to be able to tear down and renovate the property and turn it into brownfield. And that way, you know, we get qualified to be able to bring different types of investment in. And what is it, the gentleman's name, Mr. Connie?
Mr. Connie, yes.
He's the owner of Mack Truck.
Yeah, Mac
And I'm
Trail
sure
and
that
Trail Star.
Anthony's very familiar with them, with the
Oh, yeah.
trucking industry, that does a phenomenal job. He said he has 2,000 employees globally in his company, and they do an amazing job. And he's from Sebring,
Yes.
and you know, and really, the whole impetus of it, and a lot of the credit goes to Dan Yema and Debbie Flora and the whole staff of the land bank. You know, Dan has overseen the land bank since its origination, about 10 years ago.
It's been, it was formed in 2010.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2010. We actually started operating in 11, but
Yeah,
um,
okay.
the resolution was passed by the commissioners to form the land bank in 2010.
Wow.
And of course, the commissioners have served on the board the whole time. 2 of the 3 commissioners serve on the board.
Right.
So
It's been around a long
that was certainly something that we were all proud to be a part of.
Yes.
So that's a big deal. You know, Jim is in Youngstown very often for a gentleman that's in Sebring. He doesn't hesitate to come up here.
No,
We were down there Monday. I just got back.
Wait a minute, did you stay at
Just kidding, Jim.
the, did you stay at the castle down there? That beautiful Sebring mansion?
well, and the woman that owns the Sebring Mansion was at the groundbreaking.
Yes,
Or was-
she was.
was that the
I
ribbon
asked-
cutting?
I had asked her to come in as.
Yeah, yeah.
They still, that's still, you can still go there and use that,
Yes.
correct?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, yes, you can.
And it's still like a bed and breakfast type thing?
Breakfast, yes.
Is
Oh,
it still
good.
hers? Does she
Yes,
still have?
yeah, she still owns it, yeah. Yeah.
Very nice.
Oh, my God.
Her
Excellent.
history goes back in Sebring, clear back to it was called Beery Livery Stables. So way, way back around the founding of Sebring in 1899.
Wow. I mean, that is
Wow.
something. That
Yeah,
place is
that's
absolutely beautiful.
Carol cut the ribbon there.
And you know, the mayor serves on the land bank board also.
Yes.
You know, you commissioners know that.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's that whole project has been quite a collaboration from
It was.
day one. A lot of cooperation. It shows
Yes.
it can happen.
And we owe a lot of thanks to you folks.
And Mayor Harp has really followed in the footsteps, not only his ability, his professionalism, his demeanor of the previous mayor, Mike Pinkerton.
Yep.
And we got an opportunity to stop and see Mike, and he's had some health issues, and what an amazing individual. You know, both, you know, Sebring should always feel proud that they're represented very well by the mayor and the city council there. So it's always nice to get out there. And I found a new breakfast spot, that Royal Star Diner there was a pretty neat little spot to go for breakfast.
It was.
It's worth making the hike,
Yes,
so
yeah.
thank you.
We had a nice time.
All right,
Thank you.
anything else, Anthony?
No, I just want to echo Dave and Carol's sentiments. Mayor, it's always a pleasure.
Thank you.
You're doing big things out there, and I'm glad it's starting to get some traction because a lot of people don't know where Sebring is.
That's true. Yeah.
So you got a lot of land and a lot of heavy industry out there. You're making some great changes. You see, once you do it, people want to come in and invest. Mr. Connie,
Yes.
hell of a businessman. We trucks years ago from him for a very long time.
Uh-huh.
So Dave filled me in on some of the things that went on out there. I'd like to have breakfast out there one day because I couldn't make the meeting. And credit Dan Yema for all the good work that he's done.
Like
With
I
the
said,
land bank.
A lot of people.
You know, Dan, I forgot,
A lot of groups involved.
2010.
Yes.
That's a long time ago. I was here.
Yeah.
So that being said, that was great.
I
And
was
Jimmy,
in the
thank
city.
you about your service and how you've served this country and what you did in Vietnam.
Thank you.
And one thing I did want to say, you were talking about the one veteran. I had a neighbor, this was a long time ago, I was probably 5 years old. Lived up the street. My parents would tell me his name was Ed Horn. And Ed would come down and play ball with me, which I really don't remember him coming down. And I remember my mother telling me that he had been called to go to service. He was in Vietnam. And he didn't last but 2 weeks. He came back in a body bag. So, and the parents put that star in their window. And that house was sold, and that star is still in the window.
No.
It's
God
really
bless him.
crazy.
Wow, God bless him
So
for honoring, continue honoring,
Yes.
yeah.
that's all. Thank you.
That's,
Yeah, it's a true
that's a
story.
hell of a tribute
Yeah.
that they
Dead
would leave
horn.
that, yeah. Carol, anything?
Well, I'm glad that finally got demoed, and now you have productive use there, land that, you know, you can have good business come in and do some great things. And I've got to say that in the last, like with your previous mayor and you as the mayor now, there's a lot of good things going on in Sebring. I mean, and this is not only in Sebring, it's all over Mahoning County. With Danny and the land bank and the commissioners and different things that we're involved in. I mean, we're doing so much in Mahoning County. I don't think, as I can remember back, because I have been around for a while, and there has not ever been this much development ever in Mahoning County as it is right now, never. And the cooperation among all of the trustees and the mayors and the villages and the public officials has been phenomenal. I mean, we all could sit in a room, maybe not agree, but agree to disagree and kind of come up with a solution. I don't think that's happened. And I could look back, I don't ever know that to happen that way, ever. So I'm proud of this group that we have here. And you hear a lot of BS, I'll put it, and none of it's true. It's all fake news, but the real deal is what we've been doing. So, and you're part of it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much.
And these, my two partners here, and Audrey and Anna went to, we went to the Boardman groundbreaking, or the shovel, what do they call it? Yeah, groundbreaking for the new ground forest lawn project.
Water retention
And then
project. Yeah.
Dave could tell you all about his little escapade there. And then my other partners went, Dave and Anthony and Audrey. I had therapy and back chiropractic, so I didn't go, but they had a wonderful dinner at MCTC. You have to tell them about that, what our
I gained 3 pounds.
what our funding
Yeah, you
that we
did go
use
at
to
it.
help with the training program. So why don't you fill them in on that great stuff that we did?
Yeah, well,
And the dinner.
we got
that
to
you
go to the
had.
dinner, Mahoning County Career Technical Center. They actually put the dinner on, and their culinary students made all the food. And it was amazing. It was as good as you can get anywhere. I mean, I'm telling you, appetizers, and what's the place down by the engineers hall that you go to that everybody raves about, down on McClure Road?
Aquapaza.
Aquapaza. I'm telling you, Aquapaza got nothing on those students because they had the appetizers, the desserts, the main courses. It was amazing. And they did it at the school to honor people that worked there, that helped, that assisted. And Mike Ruley was the speaker, and he did an amazing job. Talked about the electric car and how the MCCTC students, were so vital to our future. And he gave a very passionate, very informing speech on behalf of the students there and the state and the county. So anyway, it was a great event. We were honored to attend. And I did actually get on the scale this morning, 3 pounds up from yesterday morning.
Can I make a segue?
Yeah, please.
In for you? Dave's got a new career and a
Yeah.
new job offer. He jumped inside this D9
Well, I don't know, I jumped, but
and he climbed up a rope. He scaled the rope, went up on the track, and went inside this huge D9 dozer or digger, whatever you call it. And he took the first swipe at the building, ripping it down, the old school. That was amazing. I gotta hand it to you. So if you want to tell.
Well, we were at the Boardman, all of us were at Boardman for that. And, one of the first major projects, and I will say that this was from the infrastructure improvement. We always talked that, we've done ARPA funds to help people, to help small businesses, and to help rebuild infrastructure. So this was the largest single funded project that the commissioners have done on infrastructure with respect to providing $1 million to the retention site in Boardman that will help alleviate the upstream flooding from about 1,400 homes. And, yesterday was the initial groundbreaking of tearing down the Market Street School that will serve as the retention, a park, a walkway, a playground. All retention is low-lying ground so that water can be held back. And when it's not there, or when it's not raining, a lot of times it's just dried up and you use it for whatever, playground, parks, different things. Or they can maintain a certain level of water and use it for aesthetics for a pond, but actually I kind of got, when we were getting ready to go to gather around, where they were gonna bring because the equipment was ready to start tear the school down.
They tore it
And when
down.
Anthony,
It's done.
when Anthony says a large machine, he's not kidding. These things were bigger than this room. And Jason says, would any of the electeds like to get in and do the first honor of, and I thought he was being facetious. I didn't think he'd let anybody get in this machine. And I said to the three boardman trustees, well, one of you guys should do it. And they all looked at me and said, no way. And I said, well, Anthony, he could actually operate those things. And Anthony just looked at me and shook his head. And I said, well, I'll do it. And I was thinking, what are they? So the operator actually said, all right, come on with me, walk me around. And the side, the treads on the like tank tracks were up to my chest. And there was no way to get in. This is how high it was. And he said to me, it would have been up to your, knees. It's up to my chest, right? And I said, how do I get in here? And he goes, oh, you got to use the rope. He pulls a rope off of the front and it's got like 5 knots on the rope and you literally got to pull yourself up on the knots of the rope. And I thought, oh man, I'll look pretty bad if I fall on my butt trying to climb up this rope, right? But I got up and I got in and it was, the handles were pretty self-explanatory and he was assisting me quite a bit. And, and I reached out and got the bucket on the roof and pulled the whole side down. And, it was kind of, you look at it and think, wow, the school looked in perfect condition and we're just ripping it down. But, he says, move the track over here a little bit closer and we'll get on the front side and pull this. I said, no, I don't want to move it where people are. I said, I'm just doing this one side
I
and then
kept
I'm out of
walking
here.
back further.
Yeah, I don't want to go anywhere near people. But it was a great event and the purpose of the event was much greater than the event itself because it helps people that have in-structure flooding, that have been dealing with a lot of problems for a lot of years. And this will move forward with one of the first projects that Boardman's doing to alleviate flooding in the community. And they've laid out a plan step by step to identify which ones will have the greatest impact on the number of people that are having in-structure flooding issues.
Yeah, the kids are gonna do all, the Boardman
Yeah.
Middle School.
Right.
They're fabulous. I went to their event about 6 months ago and they're gonna do composting, they're gonna do the track, they're gonna design things. So when you bring middle school children in to do these projects and they are involved, it's, you gotta go to the middle school and just look at what they've done in their atrium. It's unbelievable.
And the news had just an amazing young lady. I think she replaced somebody that retired. I think her name was Megan. She did a phenomenal job, covering the story and, explaining things and, so.
Sherry, do you want to mute yourself and say something?
I have not retired.
All right, I could ramble forever, but I won't, I promise you. Okay. Anybody else?
No, I'm
Anything? Good? All right, with that said, I have asked for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Commissioner Remedy Agati?
Yes.
Commissioner Trafficante?
Yes.
Commissioner Ditzler?
Yeah, our next meeting is Thursday, March the 30th, at 10 a.m.